to have done what she's done has raised questions in certain quarters. Is she evil? Is she a monster? Whether on Instagram or on podcasts or anywhere else, it's always to rebut the truth that has leaked out about her.
What Meghan has accomplished has raised questions in certain circles. Is she evil? Is she a monster? Whether on Instagram, podcasts, or anywhere else, it's always in response to the truth that's leaked about her. And now buckle up, because Lady Colin Campbell just lit a fire under Meghan Markle's already smoldering PR empire. She didn't whisper. This was full-on royal roast mode. With her signature aristocratic drawl and icy precision, Lady C didn't mince words when she dropped the bombshell. Meghan leaks like a sieve. And that wasn't shade, it was a direct hit.
Or is she all three in one?
Now, before you think this is just another polite tea party, think again. This is Lady Colin Campbell we're talking about. The same woman who's been in royal circles longer than Meghan has been in Hollywood. She's old school, blunt, and when she speaks, the palace listens. What she's just revealed is nothing short of explosive. Because if even half of it is true, Meghan's carefully polished image as the misunderstood Duchess is about to crack wide open.
Really lucky, her father will be dead by then. And then she can really have several strings to her bow. Oh my dear, the suffering.
Let's rewind for a second. Meghan Markle's public persona has always balanced on a tightrope between glamour and grievance. One moment, she's the wrong Duchess speaking her truth. The next, she's the visionary entrepreneur in Montecito, glass of rosé in hand, teaching the world about kindness and authenticity. But behind that perfectly curated image, the Instagram quotes, the humanitarian speeches, the picture-perfect photo ops, there's always been a whisper. A quiet murmur from palace corridors that Meghan wasn't just caught in the media storm. She was conducting it, and now Lady Colin Campbell has all but confirmed it. In a recent interview, Lady C didn't hedge or hint. She went all in. According to her, Meghan has been leaking private royal information from day one. Not casual chatter or accidental slips, but carefully timed. Deliberate disclosures, each one crafted to seize control of the narrative, stir sympathy, and make sure the spotlight never strayed too far from her.
Back in, so that she would have a companion as long as she needed his royal status.
According to Lady C, Meghan's so-called victimhood has been a long-term strategic play. She leaks like a sieve, Lady Colin said, practically rolling her eyes. Everything is calculated to make her look good and everyone else look bad. And here's what's wild. When Lady C said it, you could almost hear a collective gasp from royal watchers everywhere. This wasn't just a claim. It was confirmation from someone who truly understands how the royal machine works from the inside.
Of one fact. No matter how much someone loves you, there comes a point when you abuse them to such an extent that while they still wish you well, what was once viewed with horror.
Now, to understand just how deep this goes, you have to remember, Lady Colin isn't just some random commentator. She's been close to the royal family for decades. She's written best-selling royal biographies. She knows who's friends with whom, who's fallen out, who's patched things up, and who's faking it for the cameras. And she's one of the very few willing to say out loud what others only dare whisper off the record, that Meghan Markle isn't a victim of the system. She's been playing it. Let's rewind to the early days, when Meghan first joined the firm. At the time, palace insiders were reportedly stunned by how quickly private details about Harry and Meghan's lives started appearing in the press. Stories no one outside the family should have known, yet somehow they did. From staff disputes to plans for Frogmore Cottage, everything leaked. And somehow, every leak painted Meghan as the misunderstood outsider and the royals as the cold-hearted villains. Coincidence? Lady C says absolutely not. She claims Meghan deliberately created chaos, then stepped back to play the victim when the press exploded. It's her pattern, Lady Colin said. She sets the stage, lets the drama unfold, and then blames everyone else for the fallout. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Think about it. From the Oprah interview to that tearful Spotify exit, Meghan's public moves have always followed the same rhythm. Play innocent. Drop hints, let the world go mad, then step in later to clarify, once sympathy has peaked. It's manipulation wrapped in a smile. But Lady Colin didn't stop there. She hinted that even some of Meghan's closest allies are starting to catch on. Apparently several former friends, PR professionals, even former staffers, all of them, according to Lady Colin, have privately admitted the same thing. Meghan's obsession with controlling the narrative borders on paranoia. She reportedly monitors every headline, every social media post, every whisper that carries her name. And when something doesn't go her way, she acts, swiftly. She weaponizes information, Lady C said flatly. She leaks to the media, then plays the victim when it hits the press. It's manipulation dressed up as outrage. But then came the real bombshell. Lady Colin didn't just accuse Meghan of leaking palace secrets. She hinted that Meghan's also been feeding stories about her own husband. You heard that right? According to Lady C, Meghan uses Harry's pain, his trauma, his tension with the royal family as currency. Every emotional wound, every private reconciliation, every uneasy conversation becomes part of the larger narrative she controls, and apparently, even Harry's starting to notice. Insiders say that whenever he tries to make peace with his family or step out of the spotlight, something mysteriously leaks. A private text, a phone call, a disagreement no one outside the room should have known about. And who always comes out looking sympathetic? Meghan, the misunderstood Duchess, the modern-day Cinderella who just can't catch a break. Lady Colin didn't mince words. Meghan knows how to play the victim card better than anyone I've ever seen. She leaks, manipulates, and then turns around and cries foul. It's breathtakingly hypocritical, and the more you think about it, the more it lines up. Remember all those anonymous sources close to Meghan quoted in glossy magazines and tabloids? The ones who always seemed ready to defend her, yet somehow revealed just enough to keep her in the headlines? Lady C said what many suspected. Those sources weren't random at all. They were authorized, case in point, the Finding Freedom biography. Meghan and Harry swore they had nothing to do with it, until court documents proved otherwise. Meghan had in fact authorized her communications secretary to brief the authors. Translation? The anonymous insider was her own staff. And by extension, Meghan herself. Lady Colin, with that trademark aristocratic smirk, summed it up perfectly. It's a masterclass in media manipulation, and Meghan wrote the syllabus.
Understood that not only does he have access to privileged and confidential information if he has IPP status, but that...
She didn't stop there. She went on to say that Meghan's habit of leaking information is what ultimately ruined her relationship with the royal family, leaving no trust behind. Lady Colin explained, every time the royals confided in her, it somehow ended up in the press. How could they keep her in the loop? According to palace insiders, this is why the royal family now follows the Sussex Protocol, a system made to ensure Meghan and Harry get as little sensitive information as possible. Every meeting, email, and update is filtered or delayed just in case it leaks. Lady Colin laughed when mentioning it, saying they had to treat her more like an untrustworthy employee than a family member. That's how serious it became, and if that doesn't show how deep this goes, nothing will. When the palace builds a communication wall around you, and when a woman who has dined with dukes for decades calls you a kiv, it's not gossip anymore. It's a royal indictment. The wildest part? Lady C suggested this might only be the beginning.
The flip side of that was going to be, how could Meghan do that? Was Meghan involved? Was Meghan there at the time?
She hinted that she has even more to reveal, suggesting she's holding back deeper truths about Meghan's pattern of deceit, and how far her alleged manipulation spread, even into American media circles. And if Lady Colin Campbell has proven anything over the years, it's that when she promises evidence, she delivers. Oh, you thought Lady Colin Campbell was finished? Not at all. Just when people believed she had already shaken Montecito enough, Lady C doubled down and went straight for the jugular. In her follow-up remarks, the socialite-turned-royal insider made it perfectly clear that Meghan Markle's leaking problem wasn't some harmless media slip. It was a deliberate strategy. Lady Colin claimed Meghan used information like a weapon, controlling emotions, twisting narratives, and keeping herself at the center of attention. Everything she does, Lady C said with her usual cold confidence, is about control. Whether it's Harry, the palace, or the press, Meghan always needs to be the one in charge. And when you start connecting the dots, Lady Colin's words hit like a thunderclap. Every major royal scandal since 2018 seems to orbit around Meghan. Leaks, exclusives, mysterious insider stories, all perfectly timed to win sympathy or distract from bad press. Coincidence? Hardly. In Lady Colin's world, there are no coincidences, only strategy. According to palace sources, insiders at Buckingham aren't even shocked by Lady Colin's explosive statements. Behind closed doors, they've been whispering about what they call the Meghan memo effect for years. That strange pattern where private royal matters somehow turn into front-page news. Yet every time the press comes calling, Meghan's PR team denies, deflects, and plays the victim. They leak, then deny. Lady Colin joked, "It's practically an art form by now." But here's where it gets even more scandalous. Lady Colin suggested that Meghan's manipulation didn't stop at the palace gates. She allegedly extended that control over Prince Harry too. Lady Colin said that ever since Meghan entered his life, Harry's voice has been filtered, reshaped, and repackaged to fit her version of events. And honestly, look at how much Harry's public image has changed, from cheeky royal rebel to permanently frowning memoir machine. Harry used to be spontaneous, relatable, and warm, Lady Colin observed. But now every word he says sounds like a PR statement. That's not Harry, that's Meghan. Ouch. And that hit harder than any tabloid headline. Because beneath the sarcasm and aristocratic cool, Lady Colin was making a serious point. Meghan has carefully shaped Harry into a version of himself that fits her narrative, not his own truth. Royal aides have reportedly said the same for years. One former staffer told a journalist, "Harry was never like this before. He's angry now, always on edge, always defensive. It's like he's been trained to see everyone as an enemy." When asked if Harry would ever see through Meghan's act, Lady Colin paused, gave her classic knowing smirk, and said, "Only when it's far too late." The internet, of course, erupted. Meghan's defenders tried to discredit Lady C, calling her outdated, out of touch, and attention-seeking, but royal watchers weren't convinced because love her or hate her. Lady Colin Campbell has one thing Meghan's PR machine doesn't: evidence. She has been right before, predicting chaos months in advance and calling out contradictions in the Oprah interview long before fact-checkers noticed. The panic from Team Sussex was clear. Within hours, sources close to Meghan were feeding sympathetic quotes to friendly outlets, claiming she was hurt by the remarks, focused on her family, and done engaging with negativity, a polite way of saying damage control. Because once Lady C digs into a story, she doesn't let go. Then came the twist. Lady Colin dropped another bombshell, claiming the palace is quietly preparing for what she calls Sussex Fallout 2.0, a new wave of embarrassment fueled by Meghan's relentless media hunger. "You can't trust someone who trades private moments for press coverage," she said sharply, and that's exactly what Meghan has been doing for years. Lady Colin even suggested that Meghan's leaks were not random outbursts, but carefully planned distractions designed to shift attention away from her own failures. Every time one of Meghan's business ventures fails, a new royal revelation seems to hit the headlines, and Lady Colin insists it's no coincidence. When her brand stumbles, she said, "The royal card comes out of the deck again," and right now that observation feels more relevant than ever. As Meghan's lifestyle empire struggles to gain traction, her Hollywood connections have cooled, and even her big media deals, once meant to secure her legacy, have either fizzled or quietly changed. While every time her PR falters, a royal scandal resurfaces. And Lady Colin summed it up sharply. Meghan doesn't need Hollywood, she needs headlines. It's her oxygen. But perhaps the most shocking moment came near the end of the interview when Lady C revealed several media networks have approached her to collaborate on a tell-all documentary that would expose what she calls the full scale of Meghan's manipulation, a statement that alone sent shivers through Montecito. Because if there's one thing Meghan cannot handle, it's losing control of her narrative. And Lady Colin knows that, smiling knowingly and saying, "Oh, Meghan thrives when she controls the story, but she forgets she can't control everyone." A line that echoed across social media like a gunshot, with comment sections exploding, viewers applauding her courage, And even royal journalists admitting that Lady Colin might have finally cracked the Sussex PR shield. Yet behind all the glamour and gossip, there's a deeper message. Lady C isn't just exposing Meghan's manipulation. She's revealing the modern celebrity game itself. The obsession with perception over truth, optics over honesty. And Meghan is simply the most polished example of it, as Lady Colin closed perfectly. You can wear the tiara, you can play the saint, but if you trade trust for fame, darling, you'll end up with neither. A line Meghan no doubt heard loud and clear. Because when a woman like Lady Colin Campbell calls you out with poise, precision, and a teacup full of facts, you don't just lose the argument, you lose control of the entire narrative.